Yeah, so we won't do forever, just a few minutes.
Sure.
And I always keep it raw and real because, that's how people actually get to know you. So let's start with, okay, I'm here with my grandpa, Dave Kentner, and probably one of the most important people of my whole life, someone that has shown me unconditional love, and I don't want to get emotional, but every
Okay.
step of the way, my grandpa's always been there for me. So I have found myself back in Ontario for the first time in 2 years, sitting with my grandfather, which I'm lucky to be able to do. So we're just going to ask him a couple questions about his life and yeah.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just start with who you are and what you do now.
Well, my name's Dave Kettner, and I'm retired now with my bride Jerry. Jerry and I have been married 59 and 3 months
Years. Wow.
So we've had a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We were high school sweethearts, and as my employment spent 10 years in the automotive business up until my late 20s, and all of a sudden one morning woke up and I was suddenly a caterer.
Yeah.
31 years as a caterer, and retired from that. Got to do what I'd wanted to do all my life but never could do because I had 2 daughters early in our marriage, and we had to take care of them. I became a politician.
Yeah.
So I'm now a retired politician as well.
Yeah.
So I've had 3 work careers, and I am now retired.
Yes. Which, congratulations for.
Thank you.
There's a lot that I could dive into, but just on the point of you saying you're a politician and just how I was raised, my mom is everything by the books, like always follow the rules and always do the right thing, which I'm sure she got from you. And often politicians are corrupt or serving their own interests over those of the people. What would you say is a reason that you chose to actually serve the people? Because I know you probably didn't gain. If anything, it probably took away from things that could have benefited you more. So
Certainly, the experience of working with people and helping people is not something that any amount of money can replace. It's a wonderful reward on its own. Purely and simply, if you take a panorama of our yard, we're sitting on our back deck on a beautiful May evening in 2024,
yeah.
and back a few years they built a subdivision right behind us, and we had lots of problems with the developer and the town and things happening and whatnot, and all the municipal representatives had conflicts of interest, my councilors. So I said to myself, you know what? I've always wanted to be a politician, and I am not beholden to anybody, never have been. We're self-made for whatever we are, and I decided to get into local politics.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to advance over being a Ward 3 councillor. Ward 3 is where I've lived all my life.
Yeah.
My parents' home is 4 blocks that way.
Yeah.
And the place I worked was down the end of Guelph Street here in Georgetown.
Yeah.
Spent 10 years there. My business is over here, 6 blocks. Small town boy, small town.
Yeah.
Worked fine.
Yeah. I think maybe that's what was so special is that you actually have, skin in the game and family and people, and you care about people here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe politicians normally leave from their hometown and go somewhere where they don't even know the people or the neighborhood. And
Well, I think a lot of the people that you're talking about, not everyone, but it happens a lot in larger communities. It happens in small communities, but they don't have the media to make sure everybody else knows.
yeah, I'm just going to move it closer so
Okay.
I can make sure the sound is right.
Okay. So I think that you would tend to find that so-called corrupt person is from a large city, and we all know that it's hard to know all your neighbors in a city.
Yeah.
The change and move so fast, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But again, I was raised by what I consider to be small, middle class community people. My dad and my grandfather were both self-employed business people. Both were involved in municipal government to the degree. My grandfather was chairman of the Hydro Board. My father was chairman of the planning committee for Halton Hills.
Yeah.
My dad was the treasurer of the church.
Oh, wow.
This kind of stuff. So like there was always giving back somehow.
Yeah.
Was the target that was there, and I simply tried to follow in my parents' footsteps.
Okay. And moving on to a different note, because you've done business and you've done politics and most importantly you've done people, a lot of people don't know you actually helped a hockey organization, manage them, won multiple championships.
We have.
What would you say is some advice you'd give to someone younger that just wants to be successful, like just very broad advice, no specific field?
First of all, you have to yourself be prepared to do the grunt work.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get in there and to say, Marcus, would you come and help me? I'm trying to win a football championship and I need an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Now, I'm asking you to come and help me.
Yeah.
Not come and do it all.
Yeah.
Don't be alone. And then you have to deliver by being a worker yourself.
Yeah.
And but you share the glory. You try to make sure everybody's having a good time as you go, but you have personal experience in sport.
Yeah.
And sport is very much about digging deep on your own.
Yeah.
I can remember flippantly dealing with general managers and whatnot from other teams in our league that would, make comments about our team and how good our team was or whatever, and a little bit of jealousy there and whatnot, and I said, well, you don't realize it, but my behind the scene work time is quite restricted because we're so busy playing playoffs and going towards the national championship in the spring.
Yeah.
You get 2 or 3 months that you can go ahead of me. What did you do with it?
Exactly.
Did you do anything for your team during that time?
Yeah.
And go on that way.
Those guys are the first to vacation, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Go hit the golf course, man.
That's the scary part. Yeah. Football was the same way. We always played latest in the year, for championships, but then we were always back in the gym quicker than every other team as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yes. Competition is a good thing. I like the competitiveness. I'm a hockey fan. I never played hockey. I was in the house league team for a few years. One of them won a championship because we had 3 excellent hockey players that went on to play junior A and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Timmy and Laddie Haynes and Glenn Cooper, great hockey players, and they carried our team in the house league all the way to the championship. But I scored exactly 1 goal and spent most of my life on the bench because there was no equal ice time back in the 1950s.
Equal ice time, yeah.
Well, that's what they give.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember that? That's funny.
Yeah, it is.
It reminds me of times being a backup made me such a good starter, because when you have to earn that spot, what you have to do to beat that person and come from behind, I always liked being the person coming from behind because they don't realize you're chasing them or at what pace you're working.
So it's too late.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have to set the pace when you're in front, which is the hardest part. You have to set and hold the pace when you don't know when somebody's going to burst for taking the lead. And
yes, you never know, and it would be nice if you could go through life and say, okay, if I put in this much effort for these many days I will achieve
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
It isn't like that. You have to put all that effort in
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, some of those days click and work out great for you, and most often they don't.
Thank you,
Hi, Olivier.
Going on.
Do this carpentry?
Yes.
He's no slouch.
No, he's not. Did a good job.
Going on to like positive things and positive people, did you ever watch or take in any of that like mindset information? Like I know Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor. Yep. Did you ever subscribe to any of that?
Well, no.
No.
And I'll tell you, very early in my life, as a self-employed, I was 27 years old when we opened our business, and your grandmother and I went to several. What's he taking?
I think
back
he's got
there?
some dirt.
Okay. Anyway, we went to several one-day courses being offered by the Business Development Bank and whatnot. And I developed the attitude, picked it up pretty quick, that these guys that were working for the Business Development Bank were failed business people that now had a secure job with the bank and were telling me how to run my business.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I got work to do.
Yeah.
I want to keep going. And I looked at my father and grandfather. They operated basically 2 businesses. Georgetown Lumber Company. And they had 3 locations, Georgetown, Acton, and Milton. And W.H. Kentner and Son Fuel Oil and Coal.
Wow.
And they ran that in 3 communities,
Wow.
Georgetown, Acton, and Milton. And like you named the month, and it was right in the busy season of one of those businesses.
Yeah.
And of course, managers get sick, managers quit, managers move on, whatever. And so there was always a turmoil and a pressure and whatnot. So Dad and Granddad worked 12 months a year and worked hard at it. And they ended up with being moderately successful business people and had a comfortable middle-class life in the 1950s, 60s, 70s here in town. So when Jerry and I were in the 1970s going into our own business, we
took the same model. What would you say to like, because nowadays they call that grind culture, you know, like work 24/7, like more checks, more bigger boat, bigger house. Would you go that, you never were like keep upgrading, like you've been in the same home for, I think you said 30 years now.
No.
Would you?
60.
60, holy crap.
Moved in 1965.
Would you do the 12-month a year grind, or would you?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Do it again?
Yes. And I might not do it as long in my life as I did.
Yeah.
Because from day one of opening our business, I had drafted one afternoon my rough business plan for my life.
Wow. Do you still have that?
No, I threw it away.
Fair enough.
I wish I
made
could.
it a reality.
Yeah, that's right. Good. But I retired 1 year older than my plan.
Wow.
So I retired within, I retired at 59.
Yeah.
So I retired within 1 year of my stated goal, which was to retire at 58. And we had a financial target, and we'd achieved that. We're tired. We've worked hard for 40 years.
Yeah.
Worked hard for somebody else for 10, for ourselves 30. And we were ready, so we retired.
Yeah.
And that's when I went into politics and spent 12 years doing something I loved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Were you ever like a big reader or anything like that?
Yes, I was a voracious reader. I didn't have a lot of use for education. I questioned my Latin teacher why I need to know Latin.
Yeah.
And well, so that you can figure out where words come from. Thank you. Who the hell cares where the word comes from?
Yeah.
As long as I know it and I know what it means and I
Yeah.
can convey it to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm a salesman. That's what I was all my life.
Yeah.
So I could communicate,
Yeah.
and I knew how to close.
Yeah.
And I do have to ask you a question about that later.
Okay.
But no, I have a little bit of a problem, and you're seeing it happen to me right now. I'll have trouble talking, and I can't get any word, never mind the word, out that I want. I lose track of my thoughts. Where am I in the conversation? And
Yeah.
I get wandered off.
Yeah.
So my ability to go out and work in the volunteer world, in the political world, in the business world with other people is now not there.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I had the time I had healthy
Yeah.
in my retirement, and now it's just going to be whatever the hell it is. I don't know, but whatever it is, that starling just flew over my pool and pooped in the pool.
Yeah. We need more chlorine.
Yes, quick.
Yeah.
Where's my skimmer? I got to go out there and skim that pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually haven't noticed that because I remember before I left, my mom was saying that like you were having health complications and stuff,
Yep.
and I had even actually talked to you on the phone a couple times, or I did notice that. But being with you now, like you're like sharp as a tack compared
Thank
to, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I think you're doing great. How
Well,
are you feeling?
I feel
actually
good.
don't even know how old you are. Not to be mean.
Oh, that's some 79.
My mom never
Yeah.
gave me the real number. 79.
April the 17th, 1945.
Wow.
And I know that because I've been in the hospital so many times, and that's one of their favorite questions.
Yeah.
When were you born? What year
Yeah.
were you born?
Yeah.
Make sure you're the right person. They don't want to
Yeah.
amputate your foot when it's your
Yeah.
finger.
Right.
But at any rate, yeah, I have had some medical problems, and I have noticed in the last year things are really improved. If you talk to Grandma, she'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yeah.
She's been the angel of my life.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
oh
she's
my God.
well. She's special, man.
Yep. What a partner to have in business.
Yeah.
Aggressive, smart,
Oh yeah.
and she's so personable. Like
Yeah.
my employees loved her, like they were.
Yeah.
She was their mother,
Yeah.
And I was the grouch that worked in the office, but she
Yeah.
was the fairy godmother out in the kitchen with them. And it's worked out very well. I'm proud of my girls. Both are very independent,
Yeah.
established
Yeah.
human beings.
Very strong. Very
You know,
smart people.
Lori's had an easier life than your mom because she chose marriage.
Yeah.
Your mom chose not to get married,
Yeah.
and there was a price for that.
Oh, yeah.
She'll tell you she
Oh,
paid
we
it.
all paid it for
Yes,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but all of this stuff does make you stronger if you can draw on the lessons that are offered by what your past
Yeah.
entails.
Yeah.
You were a great high school athlete, and the athletics worked for you because
Yeah.
your coach was a tough son of a
Yeah.
bitch. You
Harry
either
Lumley,
passed or
one
you,
of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had to pass your exams
Yeah.
to play on his football
Yeah.
teams, the play you did.
The grade,
Yeah.
the grade standards and everything. When he was more interested in keeping us alive, keeping us healthy, and keeping us on the field.
Yeah, off the drugs.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he grew up in that neighborhood, and
Yep.
holy, the challenges I faced. Thank God for sports, because I would have been in a different place with that crowd.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You know.
Yep. There's an opportunity often in one's life to fail,
Yeah.
and it's those that have the internal guts. It gets easier as you go along because it becomes who and what you are.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if I say let's start a semi-pro football team here in Halton Hills,
Mm-hmm.
I know there's an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorships and
Yeah.
stuff to get. I know just the guys to get involved,
Yeah.
and I know how to get them involved.
Yeah.
But I know it will be a lot of work, and it'll be hard times, it'll be tough times. Your team will break your goddamn heart because
Yeah.
to win championships in anything, every section of your organization has to be the best.
Yeah.
All the other groups, you have to have the best trainers, the best coaches,
Yeah.
the best fans, the best hot dog seller. The ticket taker has to be the best ticket taker in the league,
Yeah.
and on and on and on. And that leads to a successful team. But fate plays on stuff.
Yeah.
You have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
You can't determine that.
Yeah.
The good Lord determines that.
Yeah.
You know, a hit you got up from yesterday and ran back to the huddle, tomorrow you get that same hit and you break your leg.
Yeah. So true.
You know,
Yeah.
and maybe your career's over.
Yeah.
Last
Football
game
is
you ever play.
so many near misses.
Yeah.
It's such a violent game, and we get
Yep.
taught not to put our head down, right?
Yeah.
That's the game. You use your head is part of your body, which is a part of your weapon. It's a helmet.
Yeah.
You hit with your shoulders and your head to a side. But oftentimes you can't control things when you're running at full speed. You're 200 pounds, they're 200 pounds.
Boom.
There's thousands of pounds of pressure being created in those hits, and it's just like the smallest tweak could change your life in that game. So,
Yeah.
scary game. Scary.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
No question about it. But I watched your video that you showed me a moment ago.
Yeah.
Thinking, here's a young man, first day on a job.
Yeah.
A job he's always thought he'd like to be involved
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
but had no concept of what the hell he was getting involved
Yeah.
with. And you're out there full of enthusiasm, and
Yeah.
you're saying all the things that a guy who's 30 years in the business
Yeah.
is going to say if you interviewed him
Yeah.
and give him a chance to talk on the subject.
Yeah.
You're a natural.
Thank you. I
I'm
think I
proud of you.
was just. I think I kind of am in that field. I haven't too much proved it. They'll know the story
No.
later, but I did really.
You'll know. Never mind them.
Yeah.
You.
Yes.
You'll
I
know.
proved to myself that I can do it.
Yep.
I showed myself that I can do it. I can sell. I think learning from you and my mom and life and always having to sell myself. But the biggest thing that gave me a head start was service industry, because you learn how to read people, the smallest minutia in their face. When you're selling somebody something, you can, not with staring at them and being weird, you can tell when you just said the wrong word. And then you can try and save it, or you can try and distract, or,
Yeah.
it's very humans
Yeah.
down to a science. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And there are times when you break your own heart, you just blew the deal.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
I was once told by a guy in the life insurance business that cherish every no,
Yeah.
because you have to have a certain number of no's before you get a yes.
Yeah.
And you just got one no closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next guy could be the yes.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was told was that when you want to close a sale, you ask for the sale.
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
First person that speaks after you say, is this a product that you would like to buy? And the pressure starts building.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one word that guy can say,
Yeah.
and that's yes.
Yes.
If he doesn't say no right off the bat, he's done.
Yeah.
I used to sell a lot of advertising and support for community events and whatnot to help Jerry get Light Up the Hills financed. My hockey team, my president of the hockey team had a great philosophy. I would phone him as a general manager and say, Bob, my coach tells me I got to get a better goaltender. I know when I can go to, can we come up with some extra money in the budget to get this guy a player card? Well, Dave, you can have exactly what you want, every penny. You're the guy that's got to go raise it.
Yeah.
So I'd have to turn around and go out. Remember one time I had the chance to sign the goalie that won me the Hardy Cup, this ring.
Wow.
Got the chance to sign this guy right out of the American Hockey League, for God's sakes.
Wow.
Like second highest level of hockey in the world. I needed to come up with $25,000. In 1 week, I sold 5 Raider Melton cloth jackets,
Oh my God.
$5,000 each.
Wow. A jacket?
Team jacket to guys who loved the sport, loved Georgetown,
Wow.
would love to have been a part of the Raiders, but couldn't be. But
Wow.
the only championship teams of the Raiders, you had to win an Ontario championship
Yeah.
before you could get a jacket.
Wow.
We didn't have a jacket some years because we didn't win.
Yeah.
No jacket.
Yeah.
So these guys were suddenly wearing jackets, and it made them feel prouder and a part of what was going on. Meanwhile, there were some of my best advertisers for program ads, jackets, or sweater sponsors, and so on.
That's incredible. So, just on that moment, because I've talked about a couple times on my channel, like the speed of money, and that's what I'm kind of trying to change in my life, because, like, I find myself stuck often in the same place in the same financial situation because I'm always earning the same amount of money. That's what the service industry was for me.
Yeah.
It was great. I could survive and I could just skim by, but it was never, I was always giving A+ effort, but my money wasn't changing with my effort.
No, the money wasn't changing, but the knowledge and confidence that
For
you
sure.
have today, you had to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's where you got it.
I want to just talk about quickly, like, the speed. So you just said with sales, you made $25,000 in 1 week because you needed to. Can you just talk about, like, how quickly you can change a situation with speed of sales?
Well, that was happening with our hobby that Bob Hooper and I, my president, had. He was in the meat business. Sold. He ran Eastern Meat Packers, and they bought and sold meat products to the food industry in Canada and the United States. And he had Chef Boyardee and a few of these kind of companies as his clients, and he was really involved in that. And he worked long hours in Toronto, 6 days a week,
Yeah.
selling meat. So we had little choice but to finance this hockey team
Yeah.
through smarter every year work. We learned every year from past things, and you can turn things around in a really big hurry. We could control all aspects of the organization and had instant authority. So we would, the decision to sell the team jacket
Yeah.
was ours,
Yeah.
and nobody else was involved in that.
Yeah.
And if I said, would you like to buy this jacket for $59.95, you might have said, well, I've seen one at Mark's Work Warehouse that's pretty close to that, and it's $49.95.
Mm.
We just put a price tag on it, $5,000.
Yeah.
Let's go get our money.
Yeah.
Never thought anything of it. Just the first 5 guys I walked into bought.
That's kind of
Did
crazy.
it all in 1 week.
Wow. And what year was that too?
That was 1981.
Holy crap. So $5,000 was like
50
10,
today.
15, 50?
Yeah, probably
Wow.
like 50 today.
Holy shit.
Like it was
Big deal.
big deal.
Yeah.
Well, but we've tackled that. Bob Hooper and Finn Polstrup, my other partner in crime. Finn and I raised the money. Bob and I ran the hockey team, and Bob ran the organization. So it was a great division of work. But Finn, Bob, and I were involved with raising the public contribution money for the arenas up here, the new arena we built, and we raised in 1 year $2 million.
And how did you do that?
Well, knocked on doors and said, "How would you like to have your name on one of the 4 Zambonis?" $25,000.
Wow.
And then we created some different things, but we were getting, we went with the mayor, we went to some of the land developers in this area. We got $250,000 to name each one of the rinks. So there's $1 million, 4 sales.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to have the high price on stuff.
Yeah.
And people appreciate there's a sense of exclusivity and value in what to get. If Jay Leno comes home and sees a McLaren sitting in the driveway of his next door neighbor, he feels he got robbed buying a car for
that price tag,
$700,000 or whatever the hell a car costs. And it's like that with everything else. Nobody else can buy a Raider jacket. You got to win a Raider jacket.
Yeah.
We're known for that.
Yeah.
And respected in the hockey world for it. Interesting little fact, the Georgetown Intermediate Hockey Club was recognized by the OHA on the occasion of the 100th anniversary. They presented a special banner to 10 communities, the 10 winningest communities in each of the 10 decades.
Wow.
And so our decade was the 70s.
Wow.
And, we won 8 Ontario championships.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We're the only team in Canada, only intermediate A hockey team out of the province of Ontario, out of the OHA, Ontario Hockey Association. There's one team out of the Ottawa District Hockey Association, different thing. I think the Thunder Bay team won once, but we're the only one out of the OHA that won the Hardy Cup. Pretty exclusive company, and every year in hockey in Canada there are only 5 national championships. Now there are more because we have girls hockey on a very competitive level, and they have their series of championships as well, and they rival ours for significance or whatever. I'm certainly recognizing that. But when I, as a general manager, won with my team the Hardy Cup, I was the only guy that could say I was general manager of a national team from Ontario.
Wow.
Rare.
We're killing it right now. We'll only do a few more minutes because we've actually already gone like half an hour. It doesn't even feel like that.
Oh my God.
But
okay. Yeah.
That's what happens like when you turn it on and it's natural, because some people, you put a camera on them and they literally like die.
Yes.
So that going into the new age, like if you can speak on camera, you're going to make millions of dollars. 2 things. You were going to ask me something about closing. Do you remember? We were talking about closing. You said you wanted to ask me something.
Well, I'm not sure. We're talking about closing a sale.
Yeah.
And the big thing was shut up.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much training you got on closing. Where did you get your knack for getting people to say yes?
Yeah. Well, in my position, I was only setting appointments so far, so it is a close because you have to like close that transaction,
deal.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know what? I had actually heard that thing, like say what you need to say and then shut up, and it's so important in sales because you never know. Sometimes I was thinking, there's no chance I'm getting this appointment. They came out all aggressive and they seem rude anyway.
Yeah.
They're not going to give me the time of day. I still have to ask because I'm already here. Why not?
Absolutely.
I ask and I shut my mouth. And then next thing you know, we're halfway through it. Then I ask them about their dog, and now we're talking about how they lived here for 10 years. And I noticed that my biggest key, like one of the biggest keys, if I could give anybody a key with sales, is it's not about the item or the service, it's about the person. And once you start making it about them and you're talking about everything but business, the business will take place.
Yeah.
That was something weird I noticed, because when I was like with a new guy, they'd walk right up to the door and they'd be like, "Hi, I'm here for your energy," you know.
Audit, yeah.
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 And nothing about, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. I love your shirt. You know, I noticed your house really stands out on the block." You know, just a comment like that, worlds of a different situation. So that was something I learned. Yeah, was it's not actually about what you're selling.
Well, part of the reason you learn that, I think, is because you observed that some
Yeah.
happening by a successful person
Yeah.
that was doing something, and you noticed it. You could self-analyze your own
Yeah.
meetings, and as you're walking down the sidewalk proud as a peacock because you got a yes,
Yeah.
or down in the dumps and looking
Yeah.
for a pole to hang from
Yeah.
because you lost the sale. And honest self-analysis is always
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like, why did I make the mistake? Why did I fail?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I was interviewed by a television station when our team was up in Sudbury, and we were there to play in the playdowns, the Canadian Championship playdowns, and they asked a question. I can't remember now. I'm having difficulty remembering, but it was like they were fishing for me to say something good about their hockey team, and there was supposed to be some social event or something that night.
Mm-hmm.
My comment was, "We're not here to socialize. We're here to win hockey games."
Yeah.
You know, and I just made 48,000 enemies.
Yeah.
In the city of Sudbury,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I'm not selling door to door in Sudbury.
Yeah.
They still have my picture in the post office.
Yeah.
But that you learn from that.
Yeah.
You know. So the next time you flatter them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you want to know the greatest lesson Harry Lumley ever taught me?
Yeah.
So basically, in my like sales journey that was like a little bit over a month or whatever, I was just beating guys into the dirt, like beating them down. Like days they wanted to compete, I knew they were coming for me, so I'd go harder. Days they didn't want to compete, I would kill them. But you know what I would not do? I never talked shit. I
Right.
never gave them any inspiration. So what we used to do, I went to one of the winningest programs in all of Canadian football history. We would go beat the absolute piss out of a team. We would not celebrate. We'd walk to the bus silently. We'd get on the bus. We would not make a peep until we were blocks from whatever said stadium was, and then we'd erupt and go crazy. And so they'd have nothing to pull from. They'd be like, they just beat us up, but they didn't say you suck, or they didn't say, you know,
Yeah.
get off the field, because Harry would say, you never know what's going to be that sentence that inspires them.
Yes.
So when you just beat somebody down and then you don't say anything, it's psychologically. Whereas if I beat them down and I say, you'll never be great, that could be the sentence that drives them to be the greatest.
Yes.
So it's like a silent killer is very, very dangerous. That's why, like, I just tried to stay like as humble as possible with everyone. Oh yeah, you're doing great. You know, I learned everything from you guys. You know, you taught me everything. Yeah.
Yep. That's good advice. Good advice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, Harry Lumley, who is the goaltender, was I think your coach's brother.
Harry was my coach, and then I forget what his brother's name was. I'll have to think of that. But yeah, his brother played hockey, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he played with the New York Rangers and so on, who are on TV tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting conversations, you know, and when you think about these things, some of this stuff is good for personal relationships too.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to make sure that the person you choose to live with the rest of your life has to win.
Yeah.
You can't win all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, you can't make it easy. You have to let them beat you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jerry and I used to chat sometimes. I have 4 grandsons, and they're all great kids. And, you know, I think they're going to be great men in their own right, for sure. But they would be coming, we'd be playing Scrabble, Monopoly, you name it, whatever the game is that we're playing. Jerry would say, well, how'd the game go? I said, oh, geez, Marcus beat me. She was convinced that it was harder to play a game letting the other guy win, but not knowing that he was let to win. That was a very, very big accomplishment. Well, I played that. She thought I was the greatest Scrabble player in the world till I actually played her, and she found out no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it sometimes everybody has to have some winning, and I know Lori thought that they couldn't sugarcoat playing Scrabble with their boys. The boys had to win, not allowances being made to accept a spelling mistake or something. You know? Their dad would call them on the spelling mistake.
Yeah.
How would I know? I can't spell anyway.
Yeah.
We were talking about education, and I have a grade 10 education.
Yeah.
But I'm a dope.
Yeah.
Doctor, practical experience. Charlie Farquharson, a great Canadian comedian of the 1950s to 70s, used to say that. And he got his education at the School of Practical Experience.
Yeah.
And I like to
use that.
Steal his words and so you don't have to have formal education. It sure helps.
Yeah.
I have a couple of my grandsons who have had the opportunity to have the ticket from a higher education, higher than high school, and chose not to for whatever reason at the moment they did. But idiots, they should have got it. And, you know.
I'm one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go back one day.
Well,
it's crazy. Yeah. That's a whole
my
other story.
dad had a very successful business.
Yeah.
With my grandfather. I was my dad's son.
Yeah.
Let me think. Could I have been in the family business?
Yeah.
Why did I have to go out alone, going in the car business? Worked 10 years in the car business. I started as a parts truck driver and a gas pump jockey at the local Chev dealership, and I worked my way up to being a senior manager at 4 dealerships here in Georgetown, and department heads in other dealerships as I led my way to Georgetown. But would have helped if I'd had an education.
Yeah.
But I succeeded.
Yeah.
Went down on the car business. I was going to be car dealer. I actually went and looked at a property in Arthur, Ontario that Ford sent me to see if I wanted to buy the dealership.
Yeah.
That was for sale. Nobody knew it. It's all private inside Ford. But I went and looked at that and thought it was maybe a little smaller than what I wanted. But with my dad's help, I would have been able to swing it.
Yeah.
And I might have been a very successful car dealership. I'll never know.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never know
Yeah.
because I became a caterer. And while I was probably not the poshest, biggest name, most prestigious Mark McEwen type caterer, I supported my family and educated my daughters.
Yeah.
Raised our daughters, in the 31 years, and put aside some money for retirement for my wife and I. And here I am today. We're still spending it,
Yeah.
and it's going faster now than it ever did. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we'll have any funding after the weekend, but
Yeah. We got today. We're good.
yeah,
We already
good.
ate for the day.
Yeah,
so
I know. We had today's
we're
dinner. That's
basically
it.
good for
Yeah.
at least 24 hours.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen,
Yeah.
that thing's starting to melt.
Yeah. Last. Leave them with a gem, and you're done.
Oh my gosh. Well, mark my words, you're talking to an old washed up has-been right now, or listening to him ramble on. But this young man sitting beside me has got a future, and a great future. And while he's still under that magic number of 50, he's well on the way to knowing who he is, what he wants, where he's going. And to know what you want, to be able to define success and determine what is success is a great part of the whole game. Some people work themselves to death, never having a chance to reap the reward of all of their efforts because they didn't know when they reached the goal. It was there wasn't a goal. It was as much money as I can earn in my life. Well, that's great when you're dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that spent their money when they're dead.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Thank you. That was amazing.
There you go.
That was even better than I could have expected.
Well, good.